Shiva. That should be called like the Shiva Oracle segment. She can start at anything. I like that. I think what she actually meant was she's going to go and find people. Like, you know, if you ask a question about Maybe, I think she's going to actually hunt Maybe down until she's got the answer out of it. So that's really cool. Looking forward to that as well. Another man who is part of our broadcasting. We saw him earlier on. He's messing around somewhere. He's got to be out there messing around again. Is Sir Action Slacks. What are you up to?
Hey, Red Eye, what am I up to? Woo! I'm watching that game with these fans in here. What a game, huh? LGD coming through. Let's hear it out for us. LGD! But I have a special treat for you, Red Eye. We've been in here for about a week in Canada, and I found some real Canadians here to teach us a little bit about their culture and their language. So, names and where you're from.
Toronto.
That's not a name. What'd you go?
Oh, South Canada. I was like, where are we from? Oh, Paul.
All right, Toronto. What am I?
I'm Alex, and I'm also from Toronto.
Toronto, too.
Sean, I currently live in Whitehorse.
Okay, what's your address?
I'm Robert from Vancouver.
All right, fantastic. Now, gentlemen, give it up for these true-blooded Canadians. Now, I want to know a couple things. I've been hearing stuff since I've been here. So, what is a hoser?
A hoser actually means a loser. When a team loses a hockey game, they're the ones who have to hose down the ice after. So VP in this case, they're the hosers. They're hosing down the ice.
Unnecessary, but hilarious. Thank you, sir. What is a sorry? I've been hearing that a lot.
Sorry.
Oh, not a very good Dota term. You know, not in the community. Usually when you set a teammate up to die, you say sorry. You don't spam ping them.
Oh, you hit him with a sorry. So sorry about that game as well, VP.
Oh, maybe.
All right. And what's up with A? How come everybody says A around here?
It's just something people put in the end of the sentence. Like, hey.
All right, well, the Fonz from Toronto. Thank you, everybody. Old reference there. But all right, well, can you bring us back to Red Eye with a real Canadian-sounding sentence?
Back to our buds in the booth, eh?
I have no idea what he said. Thank you, Red Eye.
Perfect. I love it. Hey. Like, the thing is, I'm learning as I go along. I spent a week in Vancouver. I have to say thank you very much to the city of Vancouver and all the people here, because you've been great all week looking after all of us that have been here, eating in all the restaurants and going all this. It's been fantastic. Really good experience. So we're really enjoying ourselves in the city of Vancouver. This week, we're inside the Rogers Arena all week, so we're not going to see many of you outside, but this is the place to be right now. Well, 1-0 if you're just joining us in our second quarter-final of the upper bracket. Our gents are back on the panel once more. We've got two former TI players and a veteran of the TI broadcast alongside with Gods, Black and Fogged. What?
I was expecting you to flame us.
Come on now. Trying to be nice, eh?
Yours is too much emphasis.
Oh, is it?
I think this is very hidden.
I'm learning.
Don't even notice it.
I'm trying to learn. It's a lovely country. I do like this place a lot. Anyway, we're heading to game number 2. You said this is going to be a 3-game series. Like, even before the series started. Has anything in that first game persuaded you differently?
Just the draft in particular. I think LGD's draft overall just looked way stronger than LGD's. Alright, sorry. LGD's looked
the other way
stronger
I
than
know
VP's.
yeah.
But I think I really thought VP would be like hiding stuff, right? Like I was talking about before from the group stages, and this came out, and I saw the same stuff kind of that I saw from group stages from VP. So I'm a little scared, but I still think we'll have to.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? As the players do make their way back to the main stage and enter their booths for game number 2. Black, VP stick with what they know. I mean, they've got such a wide range of styles of play, not just wide range of styles of heroes that they play.
I think they just had a minor slip up in the draft that made it very unfavorable for them. But I still believe in that game they actually showed the better Dota.
Right.
Even with an inferior lineup, they outplayed them a lot and almost managed to win the game. So I think if they keep playing like that, both teams I have to favor VP.
Yeah. I mean, Gods, do you agree with that? Do you feel like, you know, had they had a slightly better draft, it would have led to a Virtus Pro victory?
Yeah, I think for majority of that game they played better, but the key part of LG's draft was the ease of execution. They had more room for error. That's the nature of their draft strat, whereas VP, playing with their draft, had to play perfectly, and they couldn't quite do that. I'm kind of concerned for VP. I don't know if I share the same, like, I guess, willingness to believe in VP, because this is a team that historically has not done well at TI. It's
No.
kind of the monkey on their back. They've dominated throughout the year. Even last year, they came in as one of maybe the top 2, top 3 team and had a disappointing TI. I'm worried. They look pretty defeated with the way they lost that game. You could see it on Solo's face, and gotta imagine the nerves are getting to these guys.
Yeah, when we talk about curses and also, I don't know if I necessarily believe in the curses side of things, but there are some organisations who just don't seem to do well in certain tournaments. And Virtus Pro and TI is not a combination that has gone well together over the years. They've had 3 previous appearances here. 2013, they were 13 and 16. Obviously, a very different lineup to the one that we have now. 5th and 6th in 2015 with the what we call the real first iteration of the team. And this second iteration, 5th, 6th last year as well. That's not a good record for a legendary team and a legendary organisation that is used to winning tournaments.
I don't know. It just seems like this one is just TI changes something up. Maybe playing on this side of the map, right? Instead of playing in the usual areas where they're winning all the rest of the tournaments in Europe and China, now they come to North America and they can't take it.
But they win a lot of summits.
This is true. That kind of knocks out everything I just said. But
All right, well, we'll move swiftly on. They can fix that in post. It's fine. They can fix that in the edit. Is there anything to these curses? I mean, we're talking about, like, it's an even year, so China have got to win this one, and all those kind of things, the streaks. Is there anything to it? Is it, or is it just all, part of the scene?
I think it's part of the fun, but there's maybe a small little bit to it.
Right.
It's particularly with some countries, there is a bit of pride and national pride to it. So for China particularly, it's like they lose one year, they want to be that much more motivated to win it next year. And then I think there's some players who, have that curse. Ortiz, a good example. He's an amazing skilled player, but doesn't always play the same game at TI. I think there's other examples you can look at where often the pressure will get to them.
Yeah, a Canadian on home soil, nonetheless, here as well, and a man without a TI title to his name. I think there's plenty of pressure on his shoulders, although I'm sure he'll cope with them fine. From LGD's point of view, they're going to look back on that first game, and that's going to give them a bit more confidence, isn't it? And they look back at it and they think, yeah, we thought we had the measure of them. That just confirmed we can beat them.
I think they definitely know they can beat them, but they have to really fine-tune their play. They made a lot of unnecessary mistakes that looked kind of like they were just overconfident, honestly. They just run in one by one and just give away their advantage. Like, if they have an even draft, they cannot do this. They cannot afford to do that. So I hope they just, shape up their play next game.
Yeah, They played very well together, haven't they, throughout the group stages? And I think we saw that towards the end of the season and in the DPC as well. Have you seen that in that first game? Is it continuing to feel like they're grouping up well, that they're actually listening to what each player's telling them?
yeah, I do think that they are listening. I just think, like Black said, I think a big thing for LGD is overconfidence. Because I got to do a bunch of their group stage games is when they had like a 12 to 15 gold lead.
Getting through security. We may not be able to get Admiral Bulldog in here, but we got all of you.
The fuck?
I do want to personally thank our Canadian neighbors. Putting on an event like this when you have people coming from 64 different nations is really challenging. So, Lakad Maratag to Canada. Yeah, I love you guys too. Last thing, the Artifact team is down at PAX. Personally thank our Canadian neighbors. Putting on an event like this when you have people coming from 64 different nations is really challenging. So, Lakad Maratag to Canada. Yeah, I love you guys too. Last thing, the Artifact team is down at PAX, so they couldn't be here. But with it,
Got your autograph
first,
when I laid in the grass.
thanks for your patience on getting through security. We may not be able to get Admiral Bulldog in here, but we got all of you.
The fuck?
I do want to personally thank our Canadian neighbors. Putting on an event like this when you have people coming from 64 different nations is really challenging. So, Lakad Maratag to Canada. Yeah, I love you guys too. Last thing, the Artifact team is down at
up is because Virtus.pro banned it 14 times in the group stage out of 16 games.
I think they're getting more used to it. Like we saw even last game, they didn't ban it.
Nope.
Too. They didn't ban it at all. It got third pick, so it seems to be lower in priority than it used to be. Teams are getting more used to versing it. There's a lot more counters that are being figured out. We saw some Shadow Demons against it. We saw some Ench before us getting banned was being played against it.
Even Spirit Vessel.
Been a bit of silencer action. We've seen some of this already.
Amazing hero versus Bane. Every time he grips anyone, you just global silence, and the hero is practically useless in teamfights after that.
You also can't triple leap. If you get the last word on you, you pop your one leap, and
One
your
leap,
silence, you
yeah.
actually can't pop the further ones. It's a really obnoxious hero to play Mirana versus in most situations, and it complements really well with Weaver, because you can just, you skitter into the fight, you pop your global with the bugs, and that's where the minus armor starts kicking in right away.
But it's honestly just silence that like almost every hero in the game hates playing against that. The stupid curse and the last word. It's just like just so annoying. And I think in this tournament it actually has become like the first ban and the first pick as well.
It's a very underrated aspect. You actually get the vision with the last word too. So
Yeah.
like you're ganking this hero like in the side lane, you know they're going to play around the trees in the fog. Well, you see exactly where they're going when you get it on them.
It's flying vision, right? Or is it?
It's like trap-ish vision.
It's kind of, I think it's just like an AoE vision around it. I don't know if it's flying.
I'm entirely sure you don't.
Might be. Could be right.
Might be. I mean, that's, not too sure about that one. So they go for the Bane again, though, on VP, but they do open Mirana.
They ban out the Drow this time.
Yeah.
I think Drow in general is just very good against the Bane, and like picking it into a Drow is always a very risky in my opinion. So this game should be way better for him, and of course they have the Mirana combo, sleep into arrow.
Yeah.
Pretty much kills either of those two heroes right now. What did they face is Void. Of course, the Weaver counter #1 for me. Like there's no better hero against Weaver, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Like every time you chrono him, he's dead.
You just remove the mobility out of the aspect of the hero, which is everything.
Which is everything.
And they do it again. They're really committed on this Bane combo with the Mirana, and this is okay.
Wow.
That's a way to disrupt the combos.
It's really
Snowball
good. It's a really good hero against that.
It's against Bane and Kunk, it's amazing. And Mirana.
Someone gets 5-second arrow, someone gets X, someone gets grip. The Tusk is just fantastic there.
Yeah. It's a really strong pick.
And kind of forgotten too. I don't think has been seen too much play in this tournament.